Up next, we have the Sugar Bowl, which would be the first bowl on New Year's Eve. This is, the bowl between Alabama and Kansas State. And this line's gone back and forth. Everyone thought that, rightfully so, Will Anderson and Bryce Young would opt out. But as of this morning, Alabama stars Bryce Young and Will Anderson decided to set aside their NFL draft stock and risk the potential injury by not opting out and playing in Sugar Bowl. Speaking publicly for the first time since Saban revealed that they would play, he said, "I have another chance to be a leader and play with my brothers, and that is not something I can pass up." So that's, that kind of puts a kibosh in the narrative that Bama doesn't care and players don't care outside of the bowl games, the playoff that is, especially for a team like Alabama. That's very, it's good for the sport, man. It really is. So Bryce Young, probably number 1 pick, and Will Anderson, probably number 2 pick, depending on how you feel Jalen Carter. Yeah, it's just kind of shocking that they're playing. I love it as a viewer of this sport. It's going to be great. Bama is now, I think, an easy favorite. I mean, they're a 5.5 point favorite. I think they kill Kansas State because Bryce Young, probably the best player in college football right now. I know he didn't win the Heisman. It wasn't even a finalist for it, but he arguably played better this year with worse help. This would be a really good spot for the people that aren't transferring out, which there is a lot of them. There is, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players transferring out. So make of that what you will. A lot of receivers, which is weird because the receivers currently stink right now. But this is a good, audition for, hey, I want to be at Alabama. I could only imagine being a player at Alabama, how awesome it would be, the perks you'd get on and off the field, monetarily, socially, etc. So, being a starter is a big deal. Burton's coming back, transfer from Georgia. He didn't do anything this year other than maybe hit a person at Tennessee on the field after they lost. But, Bama, everyone was like, oh man, Saban is in the portal, Bama's back, whatever. Getting these guys to play in the bowl game, he does mean a lot. I think that, Bama can now reload. They obviously have the top class coming into next year, and they can probably start working the portal. Michigan's currently the top of the portal. Shout out Michigan. But Bama's probably just going to be like, hey, we're Bama. Let's go. They just flipped the number 1 recruit from offensive line recruit from Iowa to Bama. So Saban's still got at least a little bit there. And this should be another thing to build off of. Kind of what we were talking about last video with Clemson and Tennessee. These bowl games don't mean as much, but it can be building points. You have a lot of practice together, and if you win this game, you can be like, hey, let's go. It would have been a lot different if they won it with a different quarterback to be like, hey, we can continue forward, because obviously Bryce Young and Will Anderson are leaving, but they can help boost their stock a bit more. I know Will Anderson probably can boost it a bit because he had, relatively speaking for him, a bad year. Bryce Young played unbelievable, and would be shocked if he doesn't go number 1 to the Texans. As for Kansas State, they got a lot to play for too. They had a questionable middle of the season, but finished super strong, beat TCU in dramatic fashion in the conference championship game, and they're looking to build from there. They have that quarterback. I don't remember the guy's name. Sorry, it's escaped me right now. But they also have Deuce Vaughn, good running back. And Adrian Martinez, the other quarterback, I believe is going to be playing. Maybe. He was injured. He was the captain. It was pretty funny watching him go out there and, be injured and do the coin toss for overtime and pregame. But it'll be interesting to see how Kansas State comes out and plays. Is it a bit of a letdown after the championship game, after the conference championship game? Probably not. But we'll see what happens. Bama might actually travel for the Superdome now. I know they probably wouldn't, but with Bryce Young playing, I would go if I was a Bama fan, because it's the last time you can watch one of your best quarterbacks you've had in a very long time. So yeah, I think Bama rolls here. The spread's 5.5, totals 55. I think Bama absolutely lays the hammer on Kansas State with both of those guys playing. It's really good for the sport. It is. I know I keep saying it, but just because opt-outs left and right, the best players not playing for all these teams. The fact that Bama's got their guys playing is pretty cool, especially only at a noon game. If it was like a night game in New Orleans, sure, it's noon, not as much of a needle mover, but people will be spending most of this day watching football. Well, should be, with the playoff later that night. So, yeah, that's kind of all I have for the Sugar Bowl. Bama wins easily, I think. I would guess probably, 38-17 would be my prediction. So do with that what you will, and we'll see you right later for the for more bowl previews. I'll probably do the other two non-playoff games first. So next video you should see would be the Cotton Bowl and the Rose Bowl. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Keep sharing. Appreciate everyone that's doing this, watching these videos and supporting me. So thank you.